I became a first-time mom at the age of 47. I am sitting in the infrared sauna of my registered dietitian in Clearwater, Florida. I just had an appointment with her because I need to find out what to do to improve my health. I feel really good. I'm 50 now. I turned 50 December of last year. It's January now. And I've got a 2.5-year-old. My daughter is 2.5, and longevity and well-being are so important to me. And I just do whatever I can to share lifestyle tips with ladies. I do what I can to encourage ladies that it's still possible. Yes, I got pregnant naturally and by surprise at 47. Wasn't even quote unquote trying. I know that I'm a statistical outlier in that regard. I know that it's not common for women to achieve what I've achieved, but at the same time, I am proof that it's possible. It is not as uncommon as society and doctors may make you believe that it is either. That's the other part. So I'm here to bridge the gap between medical doctors and society making women feel like, oh, once you turn 35, your eggs have cracked and died, to, hey, look, on the extreme end of things, here's a possibility of what can be. I try to grab women early enough in their life, in their 30s, upper 20s, lower 30s, to be like, hey, you can make some lifestyle changes that can prolong your fertility and improve your health. That's my purpose. And so I like to avail myself to answer questions. So if you're popping in here and you see me and you're like, hey, your story is really intriguing, or hey, what is possible? What did you do? Like, I'm here to just be a resource for you as best I can. I do lots of interviews with practitioners as well. Like, you're checking me out here on YouTube. Go to my video section. In my videos, I have all kind of interviews, like herbs to use to boost your fertility, how to improve egg quality, preventing miscarriages, handling fibroids through diet and lifestyle. Like, I have covered so many topics with practitioners, all in the aim of giving women truth and hope on their journey, because unfortunately traditional medicine is so focused on the medicine end of it. They're focused on the specialty end of it, that they're not looking at women holistically. They're not talking to us early enough. And can you imagine, when I was 15 years old, I was put on birth control pills because I had bad cramps. And I ran track. I was, a highly competitive athlete. And so to help me manage my cramps and that predictability with my period, I was put on birth control at 15. When it wasn't until I was almost 30 or a little over 30 that I found out that magnesium would handle them cramps just fine. So for almost 15 years, I was on birth control pills when really I could have taken magnesium. And here's a trick bag. Birth control can leave you depleted of magnesium. So, which is quite vital to fertility and balancing your progesterone and estrogen. So there's just all these things that are happening out there in the world, girls being sold perfumes. Like, how many of us were just in Bath and Body Works just spraying on them little stinky cheap perfumes, or told, we're sold the idea that our house is clean if it smells clean, and clean is a Glade air freshener or plug-in or Febreze on your couch or Tide in your clothes. Like, we have just been being toxified and made hormonally imbalanced and made sick and made headachy, right? On purpose. Anyway, let me answer this question here. Hey, I see your title, Soul Something. I have to really read this whole thing. But it says, I know there's a way to find out what your ovarian reserve is, but is there a way to know what your egg quality is? Right, so you can test for ovarian reserve, and nobody really cares about that number. I think you can go to fertility clinics and they can start looking at your eggs. But I think the more important thing is if you worry about overall health. Again, I get back to looking at yourself holistically, because there are things that you can do to improve your overall health that then have benefit to your eggs. So I would also be consulting with a functional medicine doctor or a naturopath. Start finding out what your hormone levels are. Start finding out what your nutrient stores look like. in my case, like I'm in the office of my registered dietitian, and she's looking at my weight and looking at my fat, and she's like, hey, like overall, like I'm doing fairly well. I don't have any issues, but I need to start exercising. There's just, which would improve my hormones, which would improve my bone strength, which will improve circulation. And if I was trying to have a baby, well, inevitably this would also have to help improve the quality of my eggs if I was trying to have a baby. So hopefully what I'm saying is making sense. Again, yeah, do I think that, fertility clinics can go ahead and pull some eggs and see what they're looking like, but you only need one good egg. So if you're not willing to go that drastic, I would be looking, like I said, functional medicine doctors, naturopaths, nutritionists to improve your diet. Make sure that you're eating good fats, because your hormones, your eggs need those good fats. They need mitochondrial support. So there are treatments like, I don't know, like NAD drips, right, that support mitochondrial health. There's supplements that you can take. Like there's one I partner with, there's a brand called Needed, and they have a supplement called Egg Quality Support. And this is got antioxidant properties. It's got properties to support mitochondrial function. And the body part with the most amount of mitochondria is your eggs. And so she says, I do have a nutritionist, and my gynecologist also focuses on functional medicine. Okay, great. That's excellent. It sounds like you've got a good team. It sounds like you got a good team. So I don't know if you've posed that question to them, because yeah, the AMH test is so like, whatever, doctors love to ruin women. I know because I get it in my DMs. They're telling them that, oh, your ovarian reserve is low. Well, if you're in your 40s, it's going to be low because you're in your 40s. Like, who cares? We need to be talking about making good use of those eggs that we do have and making sure that we're healthy. Hence, I'm sitting right now in an infrared sauna in the office of my dietitian. Infrared is great for supporting quality sleep, regulating cortisol, reducing inflammation, helping with detox. So there are protocols out there that really are good for you holistically. This is one of them. And I swear, like this red light with this selfie light I got going on, I'm liking how I'm looking in this light right here. I feel like it's going to give me like 7, 8, 9 years back on myself. I think I'm going to just live in here. This is my beauty place because your girl is looking good in this light. You're thinking about doing an infrared sauna. You should. There's no reason that I can think of. I mean, obviously, disclaimer, always talk to your practitioner. I am not a doctor, okay? But the benefits of infrared just for general health and well-being are so numerous that I think that every man and every woman should be looking at these kind of therapies because they're not invasive, they're not difficult to do, they don't hurt, and they're very supportive. She said, I look good. Girl, thank you. Let me take a screenshot of me doing this live here. Anyway, if you have any other questions, if anybody is popping in here newly, my name is Chia. I became a first-time mom by surprise. I conceived naturally at 46, carried my baby to term, delivered at 47. If you're here just listening to me and you like this live, it helps very much if you like it. I don't know on other platforms, like you can tap the screen. Does that work? I don't know how you heart a live here, but whatever you can do to show that you like that I'm here and that I'm sharing this, that helps YouTube push it out. I'm going to be in here for a little bit longer, and women are always asking me so many questions about my lifestyle. So I'm going to tell you some things about my life that I think helped contribute to me being fertile at 46. And mind you, I conceived twice in my 40s. I conceived naturally at 45. That did lead to miscarriage 6 weeks later. But then I conceived again 10 months later, again naturally at the age of 46, and carried my baby to term and delivered her by emergency C-section. So anyway, here we go. Lifestyle factors that I think contributed to my fertility. One, I focused on sleep. I always have done the best I can to make sure that I get a good night's sleep. Taking magnesium before bedtime has been a stable action for me. for years now. Ever since I learned about magnesium in my lower 30s. When I learned about magnesium for period cramp regulation, I realized that, oh, it helps with muscle tension, helps with regulating the nervous system, and it's just great for also supporting your balance of progesterone and estrogen. And so I take magnesium as part of my sleep routine. Going to bed early. I like to go to bed early and wake up early. Now, before pregnancy, I would go to bed like 10, and then I would wake up at 6 and get my morning exercise in. And that's what my dietitian was like, yes, you need to get back to that. So yeah, small thing that makes me happy. Oh, it says add a Q&A sticker. Oh, it went away. I don't know how to add a Q&A sticker. But so prioritizing sleep, supplementing well, really doing my best to surround myself with good people, because I have a news flash for you. The only thing that causes stress is other people. And it's the quality of people that you are surrounding yourself with that can determine the level of stress in your life. Like, I totally invite you to look around and look at who is making you feel bad. You're going to find, and I mean chronically bad. I don't mean like, a snide comment from a friend one day that you didn't expect. I mean, like, who is somebody that's in your world that's chronically making you feel bad? That's stress. That's where stress comes from. So it could be a coworker, it could be a boss, it could be your significant other, it could be a family member. You need to watch it. You need to watch what those people are doing, because they can deprive your happiness, they can deprive your sleep, spike your cortisol, and leave you feeling ill. So it's also been a thing for me prior to pregnancy and post that I'm surrounded by good people. I'm surrounded by good people. I don't fight with my man. We don't argue. He's not going around telling me that I need to lose weight, or that I'm a bad mom, or the house is too messy, or this or that. Like, I see a lot of this in these mom groups. Like, the men in their lives is a big source of their stress. They can't do nothing right. We're not doing that. These are the small lifestyle things. I'm telling you, women are asking me for fertility tips all the time, and I'm like, they are basic. They are fundamental. All obviously exercising and keeping fit. Like, I'm proud of how I look at 50. Look at that. That's a good arm. It's got some muscle tone to it. Y'all can't really see me in the sauna, but you get the idea. I'm hanging in there. I've taken good care of myself. I think I'm, still benefiting from all the years of running track. My body has muscle memory. So that I age well into menopause, I will be incorporating some exercise. Like, that was my main takeaway from my appointment today, is I've got to get back to exercising. So that's extremely important. So if you ladies are out there and you're trying to have a baby, you're going to be a mom later in life, or even if you're young. I don't care if you sit up in here and you're 28. Listen, I'm going to need you to lay off the alcohol, okay? We need to cut back on the sugars. We need to cut back on the fragrance products. That's on your skin, especially. Your skin is your largest organ. Like, look at all the pores that just can be, like, look at this glisten. The sauna's a little warm. These are pores. So when you're just like rubbing all that perfume and spraying them into your what are these things called again? Your glands, right? You're disrupting your hormones, and you're starting at a young age. And I don't know, I think like some of these companies that sell you the poison then have the remedy later on down the line, like these Johnson & Johnson, they'll sell you your products already, and then they got the remedy at the back end too. Be mindful of these companies that hit you coming and going, right? So, I don't think that there's a lot of mysticism into fertility and protecting your fertility. I do understand that there are some healthy women that still have. Sorry about that. I had a call come through. We should probably put that on Do Not Disturb. I am on Do Not Disturb. How did that happen? Anyway, for those of you who are just popping in, if you could give my live a thumbs up or a like so YouTube knows that it's good. I really do try to do my best to answer people's questions. If you have any, don't be shy. Like, ask me about my lifestyle. Ask me things I've heard from practitioners. You can ask my opinion. Like, no, I'm not a specialist, but at this point, like, I've spoken to so many practitioners, and I have gotten many things right. I've gotten many things right in my life. By the way, I do have a free community. If you check in my description here, you can find a link to it, where if you join my free community, you get right away to your inbox an ebook on my lifestyle tips, a little bit more about me. You get notified of when I am doing lives with practitioners. I go live a lot, like on Instagram. I don't go live with practitioners in YouTube very much. I mainly do it in TikTok and Instagram, but you'll get notified when I'm doing those things. And you just get to stay more connected to me and get tips to your inbox, because unfortunately there's just not a lot of support for ladies over 35 and especially over 40 who want to have a baby. Like, I kind of just stepped into this, like sharing my journey and sharing my story, and all these women telling me, oh, you give me hope, you give me hope. And I didn't realize that women were out here hopeless. The doctors are making y'all hopeless. Friends and family making y'all hopeless. And so I'm here to fill that lane of just like, here, whatever I can do to share, here's how you can do it. Here's what you can consider. Here's who you should work with. Here's what I did. Because people are not sharing. Chrissy says, I'm 39 and may have a child within the next few years. How was overall childbirth? Did you have naturally or in the hospital? Good. So, my overall childbirth experience was good. It was the best of times and it was the worst of times. So it was my plan to have a natural childbirth with no epidural, no drugs. That was my plan. I studied the Bradley method. I took an 8-week course called the Bradley method, which trains you and your partner on the techniques to help you deliver your baby naturally. And I was doing it at a birthing center, not in a hospital, because I actually don't have a very high pain tolerance. And so I was like, if I'm in a birthing center where they don't offer an epidural, then I won't be able to get one. So my water broke, and per the laws here in Florida, when you're delivering in a birthing center, you have 24 hours to deliver that baby or be in active labor that the baby is coming. The day that I went into labor, my water broke. I was not sufficiently fed, and I was actually tired. By the time I got food in my system, I was not able to hold it down, and I threw up everything. So I went into labor tired and hungry. I labored for about 20 hours before I was like, it ain't happening. I want the epidural. I need to get some sleep. Because I went into labor, my labor kicked in hardcore at around 5:30 p.m. So I'm like in active heavy labor through the middle of the night. I don't get a good night's sleep. I'm exhausted. So about 20 hours into my labor, I'm good. I'm throwing the towel, give me the epidural. I want to go to sleep, take me to the hospital. We go to the hospital, I get the epidural. My baby Naomi, her heart rate starts crashing. Long story short, emergency C-section. So that's how I got my baby. But I'm happy that I got to experience labor. Like, I got to go through the motion of labor. I don't recommend that if you don't have to, that you do a C-section. Like, they're tearing through all your muscles and everything. And then the process of trying to care for your baby after a C-section, woo, it's rough. It's rough. I did it. But if I could do a vaginal birth, if a lady can do a vaginal birth, I say go for it, because that C-section is rough. Did I work out during my pregnancy? During my second trimester, they call that the honeymoon trimester. Ooh, I had energy. I was at the gym. And then by the third trimester, it was very difficult for me because I was also getting prenatal chiropractic care. And my chiropractor did such a good job adjusting my body and adjusting my pelvis that Naomi was deep and on my bladder. I couldn't walk. Hardly anywhere before I had to turn right back around and go pee. So I did not exercise much in that third trimester. And again, like, I'm in the office of my registered dietitian, and she's looking at my numbers, and she's like, you need to exercise. I have not rebounded back into exercise. And I was very active prior to, like, I love bike rides. I love taking walks on the beach. I love swimming. I love working out at the gym. All of these things, I admit, have fallen through the wayside since becoming a mom, and I've got to get them back in. But many women are able to exercise. After that second trimester and Naomi being dropped so low into my pelvis, and then I got big. And I didn't gain a lot of weight. I think I gained like 23 pounds. I was all belly. I was one of those that was all belly. Ooh, your pelvis starts to stretch to accommodate the baby. The ligaments start getting weak. My baby sitting on my bladder. I was like, I'm good. I'm at home. Where y'all? I'm at home. People would invite me places, and I'd be like, only if there's a bathroom in 20 feet. Like, that's all I can do. But I did it. I did it. I carried my baby to term, and she's here and she's healthy. Christy says, I see a chiro too. I hear it really helps with childbirth. Hindsight being 2020, everything is always 2020. Hindsight being 2020, when I went into labor, I probably should have let her know that I'm in labor. She might have been able to do some things to help me out, because they can be called upon when you're in labor to help get the baby moving, you know. So I think that that's great that you have a chiro and that it really helps childbirth. When you're pregnant, you specifically need a prenatal chiro. That's another level of training in chiropractic care, and not all of them are prenatal chiropractors. So if you can get one of those on your roster when you're pregnant, if the chiro you see isn't one, you need to find out. But you want a prenatal chiropractor on your team, because they know how to adjust your pelvis. I mean, mine, she would give me these wrist adjustments, right? It was awful. One day I hit her. She adjusted my wrist, and by reflex, it hurt so bad. But she was like, yeah, but when that carpal tunnel wants to set in, you'll be glad I did this. Like, her prediction on what the body is doing and getting ready to do while you're transitioning was just phenomenal. And I had a flawless pregnancy. And I would say, like, every ache and pain, she knew what to do about it. She knew what to do about it. So it's just another level of training of chiropractor that you want. I recommend every woman has one. And then when Naomi was born, they adjust Naomi now. They addicted, because I think it's hand in hand. They tend to be prenatal and pediatric. So having someone on my care team that could also take care of my baby, because check this out. Naomi breastfed from day one. She was on the nipple. Like, I have the photos in the hospital. She's on the boob. Right away. Latched right away. But about on day 4, somewhere in there, she stopped latching. And I was like, oh my God. And the doctor had said she's slightly underweight. I needed to be feeding her more. Talk about panic. I brought her into the pediatric chiropractor, who was also my prenatal chiropractor. I brought her in when Naomi was born by C-section. And people don't tell you this, right? But the baby's head is supposed to go through the birth canal, right? Supposed to get the little cone shape. The Mother Nature got it all worked out. When you do a C-section, it's bypassing the process. The skull doesn't go through all that it's supposed to go through. So she stopped latching. But guess what? They did some adjustments on her skull, some adjustments in her mouth. She went back on a boobie and stayed back on ever since. Can't get her off. She's 2.5 years old now. She's literally now squeezing my boob for little drops of milk, and then she'll be like, ah, 2.5. I'm like, girl, if you don't go sit down somewhere and leave these nipples alone, like, now it's invasive. But my point being, the prenatal and pediatric chiropractor really has been an asset to me. Naomi took a big fall at the park one time. We go into the chiropractor, making sure all the bones are in place, you know, and as she grows, you know, if your baby is constipated or ill-tempered or not latching, like, there's so many ways that the chiropractor can help. So that's a tidbit. Christy says, I love this for you both. Adorable. She's getting adjusted too. How much were you eyeing everyday calorie wise? I think there's a typo in the question, so I don't understand the question. But it's a sweet story. It's a really sweet and good story. I am so happy to be a mom when I thought that I wouldn't be. And I hate it that women are being discouraged about it and being made to believe that it's not possible and made to feel like they're too old when they're so young. I think it's disgusting that I get women who are like 32 years old talking about, I'm worried because I haven't met the right guy and my family is pressuring me and this and that at 32. It's the wrong conversation. Sure. Do I think that women should intentionally wait until they're 40 before having a baby? No. But should we be talking about what to do to preserve your fertility and protect yourself? Yeah. Make sure you pick the right man, because the wrong one will have you in the mom groups complaining. Yeah. So I'm just here to be like, look, ladies, the conversation is not about your age. It's about your health. It's about your hormonal balance. It's about your fitness. It's about your nutrition. It's about your gut health. This is a different conversation in age, and we need to start having a conversation younger, because I don't know about you, but my gynecologist wasn't talking to me about nothing but about how not to have a baby when I was younger. They are so eager to put you on birth control, aren't they? Especially when you're in college and you're going to the Planned Parenthood, right? They give you the contraceptives, they give you the birth control pills, they give you all the things. They will not give you any insights into, hey, listen, honey, that perfume you're wearing, it smells really intense, and you know it's also disrupting your hormones. Hey, honey, I smell all that Tide in your laundry. You know what? That's not healthy for you. That's disrupting your hormones. They're not talking to you about that. They're not talking to you about your food. Like, hey, let's make sure that you're eating a good, healthy diet. Hey, you don't want to fry your food with Crisco. You don't want to cook with soybean oil, honey, but you might want to start eating your coconut oils and your olive oils. There are such simple things that there is no reason why any OBGYN worth her salt couldn't take the time to take the 10 to 15 minute conversation while she's in your twat. Looking for everything else. Oh, you yeast infection, but you don't want to talk to me about what I'm eating. You just want to go ahead and give me the blah 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 all. It's been a while since I've had a yeast infection, so I don't remember the name, right? But it ends with Zol. I remember that, right? They don't want to talk to you about that, but it would literally take a 10-minute conversation to change a woman's life, wouldn't it? 10 minutes, but they don't do it. They don't do it. Even the infertility clinics are discouraging. They want to give realistic data up front, so when it doesn't work, it won't hurt as bad. That's what one place told her. Right. That's what they're trying to manage expectations in a doctor's office. And to some degree, I understand it. Like, they've seen it. They've seen it all, right? The doctors have seen it all. I'm not lost on the fact that they've seen it all. But at the same time, why don't you just give a leg up? Like, hey, listen, statistically, this is what you're looking at. But here's what you can do. Here's what you can do. I'm in the what can I do besides sit at home and feel defeated department. So I'm here, ladies. I'm here, and there are so many practitioners who do care and who will bother to tell you the simple things to do. For example, I'm with my registered dietitian, right? And I'm like, what are 3 things women are doing to sabotage their health? She was like, they're not managing their stress, which is spiking their cortisol. So no matter what they eat, it ain't going to work. They're drinking too much alcohol. And what was the 3rd thing? Oh, shoot, I forget the 3rd thing. But how about that? How about that? The registered dietitian is like, yeah, let's manage that stress. Let's work out some lifestyle factors to help you manage your stress. And we're not talking about diagnosing it and throwing a pill down your throat. We're talking about really managing your stress, right? We're talking about telling ladies to cut back the alcohol. How about eat healthy fats? How about where to go to get nutrients from your foods? Like, she was like, hey, let's get your omega-3, let's eat some salmon, let's eat some healthy nuts for magnesium, let's eat leafy greens for magnesium. It doesn't take a doctor nothing to tell you that. It ain't malpractice to be like, hey, here's what you can do. I don't know. It's disgusting. To me, it is so disgusting that it takes so little time to change a woman's life. So I'm gonna do it sitting in saunas, sitting in my house, sitting in my bed, walking down the street with my doctor, interviewing practitioners. I'm gonna tell you, because people are not telling you. Bath and Body Works is killing you. You don't need to smell like that. A man will love your natural scent if you'll let him find out what it is. Or if you find like you do want to smell like something, well, let's get an essential oil. Let's get an essential oil if you want to smell like a little something, right? Okay, but it doesn't have to be all these toxic things. And I'm not here to like scare people like, oh, we have to go into these like holy non-toxic lifestyles. No, we don't. Our bodies are great, but we are overloading ourselves into infertility. Where I walked by people's cars. I walked by this lovely family one day. I was at Busch Gardens here. I'm 10 feet away from their car, from which they pulled out a newborn and a toddler. The air freshener from that car was so extreme. And this is common. This is common. Why are we doing it? I'm like, them poor babies. They don't even know that out the gate, they're sabotaging their babies. It could be their hormonal health, which ties into their anxiety levels, which can allergies, how they process food, their mood, how they feel. You don't need them air fresheners in the car. Like, I'm not even talking about getting rid of things that matter. They don't matter. Get the unscented, non-toxic laundry detergent. You don't need to smell like that. Like, take the plug-ins out your house. Them kids don't need that. You don't either. Ooh, I love this. So Debbie is asking me, did I get my vitamin D levels checked before and or during pregnancy? Yeah. Oh my God, I got so many tests during pregnancy. Um, and I had tests where I got my vitamin D levels checked before, and I was always told the range was fine. But I'm in my registered dietitian's office right now, and she caught wind of the fact that I take a vitamin D. One of them that I take is 10,000 IU. And she's like, why are you taking so much? And I'm like, well, I've seen that vitamin D is great for hormonal balance. And she was like, yeah, but you don't know how much you need. And that's a high level. It's not that it's so bad to supplement vitamin D, right? But she was like, if you take too much beyond what you actually need, it can create too much calcium in your system, and calcium overload, then calcium starts going into your heart, can create hormonal trouble, can create bone spurts. So it's important to get your vitamin D levels tested. It's important to probably get all your levels tested, right? But that's one of them where, depending on who you listen to, right, there are some very well-known practitioners that'll be like, hey, you're deficient in vitamin D. And probably many of us are. But you can overdo it and create other problems as well, right? So that's one. Vitamin D is a very important hormone in the game of fertility. And it's one to get checked and make sure that the levels are optimal. So you probably want to run those levels by a functional medicine doctor or a naturopath or a nutritionist, because medical doctors, they kind of look at things as like life and death. Are you going to die? Or are you in range for just survival, right? And then functional medicine doctors, nutritionists will look at these for optimizing, just not life or death, right? So you're very welcome. That's what I think. So I'm gonna have to get some blood work done. It's been a while. Like, I got a lot of blood work done while I was pregnant. Hell, they were testing me for drugs. They were testing me to see if I'm taking. I didn't even know. Like, right? I looked at one of my drug tests, and they were like testing for cocaine, heroin, all the things. I was like, what? I'm the most like anti-drug, don't do drug. I don't believe in none of it. Y'all could have just asked, but they test you for so many things while you're pregnant. And I guess everything was good because I carried to term and my baby is totally healthy. But I really think that for women who are not like me, I'm in the if it happens, it happens category. We discussed, like, okay, do we want to have a baby? Yes, it would be great if it happened. And we were like, but we're not going to do anything extra to make it happen. We're just going to go on with our lives. But I believe that if you know you're over 35, you're over 40, and you are actively trying and you want that baby, and you just going to lay down and die if you don't get that baby, well, you need to man up your squad. And not just a fertility specialist either. Go on and get that nutritionist, get a herbalist. If you can get a functional medicine doctor who's also an herbalist that can prescribe you herbs, right? Like, not just have you going to Whole Foods and getting doses that you may or may not need or may not even be enough for you. That's what I would recommend. Like, don't go at it alone. Again, me, I was like, if it happens, it happens. I'm healthy enough. I like my life the way it is. If I get a baby, that'll be a blessing. But if I don't get a baby, I'll love my life too. Because I just didn't want to put myself under pressure like that. Like, when we started dating, I was 44. I just didn't feel like running myself through IVF. And that's an individual choice. I'm not making any woman wrong if she opts for that for herself. Because again, if you were just like one of those that you're like, I'm going to die if I don't have a baby, then by all means, like, exercise all your options. For me, did not want to turn my life into getting a baby. We were happy. We lived a very full, active life. I have wonderful friends. I have 9,000 things to do to occupy my time. I had a full life. So I didn't want to then change the trajectory into IVF or fertility treatments, and then the stress that can come with that, because there is stress. There's a financial commitment. You're jacking your body up with hormones. You're putting yourself through a lot. And then there's your roller coaster ups and downs if it's not working right away. And I looked at that and I was like, not interested. If we're gonna have a baby, he or she is gonna have to make her way using your sperm and my eggs. And I would joke, I would be like, hey, if some being can come up and make sense, and I was retarded with it, right? I'd be like, you can scrape an egg off the side of my wall and make it work, right? Like, the egg is sitting on the wall, right? But if she can scrape an egg off the tube and make it work, hallelujah, that's the baby. That's for us. Talk about manifest. Talk about manifest. I was like, yeah, that baby gonna have to find an egg. Go find you an egg, baby. If it's a good one in there, go make it work. Because I ain't gonna help you. I've done all I can to make this body work well and do well. So go on in there, girl, and find you an egg. And she did. Right? So, but not every woman is like me, and I understand that, and every route is valid. I just highly encourage women, do not waste your time going at it alone, and do not run straight to the IV clinic, like IVF clinic. Like, don't go from fertility specialist straight to IVF clinic. Go to fertility specialist, find out what's the haps with the hormones and the eggs and the this and the that for both of y'all, for you and him, because all the ladies to be swearing, his sperm is fine, you've been tested, his sperm is fine. Some of y'all are struggling, and it ain't because it's you. Okay, so don't go straight from fertility specialist to IVF. We're going to take the data and we're going to go see a holistic practitioner, and we're going to prepare our bodies, yours and his, to help increase your chance. And that doesn't have to be like a whole long drawn out cycle, right? But there's like 50 to 60 known hormones, like not just your FSH, LH, progesterone, estrogen, like those are the key ones that we're looking at. There's so much more to your endocrine system that, and your gut health is the other thing too. So if you can optimize those things, like take a few months to get some things under control, then you have a greater chance, if you still go through IVF, of the IVF working for you. That's what I recommend. Like, and then a lot of women are working with these functional medicine doctors, preparing their bodies for IVF, and then they get pregnant naturally. Because why? Because they optimize themselves. That happens too, and that's ideal. It's ideal if you can do the conception naturally, right? Not run your body through all the jacking of the hormones and stuff. So anyway, I have been on this live now for 37 whole minutes. I encourage you ladies to subscribe to my channel. I do have a free community. The link to it is in the description here. Right away, you get an ebook which tells a little bit more of my story, because it's a story, honey. Everybody got a story. I got a story. How I done conceived this baby 6 weeks after my father passed away. Like, there's a spiritual component to this as well. Lost a life, got a life. Like, conceiving through grief. I wasn't even particularly at my healthiest when I conceived. Because I was going through extreme grief and stress and not sleeping, and I still got pregnant. My story is layered. I do share it in my ebooks. If you join my community, you get on my newsletter list, you get your tips, you get alerted when I'm doing lives with practitioners and things like that. So the link to my free community is in my description. As well, in my video section here on YouTube, all of the podcast interviews, so many of the interviews that I've done with practitioners are there. I'm doing everything I can to help you guys be informed as older women trying to have babies, as younger ladies making your way, not to make mistakes, ruining your health, making yourself sick. Because it's not even just about your fertility. Like, your fertility can be a measure of your overall health, right? But along the way, your body is throwing you signs and symptoms way ahead of time. Again, like me being 15 and having period cramps, right? But I was 15 years old. I'm at Bath and Body Works. We used all the fragrance products, right? So I had horrible period cramps, and then I get put on birth control pills. Oh my God. And then what a wreck I was coming off birth control pills, right? Okay. So I really, I'm doing my best I can to educate women ahead of time to just make subtle lifestyle changes. Like, I'm not the big, non-toxic, scare you into everything. Like, you can't avoid all the toxins that there are on the planet. And I don't think that's fun. We're going to eat junk food. We're going to wear things, this is polyester. Like, we can go get the non-toxic, fully organic cotton $100 pair of yoga pants. We can try to do all the things, and I'm not about that, but I do think that there are some fundamental things that we can be doing at a younger age to get rid of our allergies, to improve our moods, to get rid of the anxiety. And I'm just doing the best I can. And in turn, if you do those things, you might still be fertile at the ripe old age of 46, getting knocked up by accident. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. Thank you guys for participating in this live and for asking me questions and allowing me just an opportunity to be on your journey. I really appreciate it. So I'm going to hang out here for a few more seconds in case any of you have any last minute questions. You're like, oh, before she goes, I want to know any more. I want to know this. So if you're sitting there and you're kind of like, I wonder, blah, I'm going to hang out here and give y'all a few seconds just to type any last minute questions. Any of y'all sitting up there with questions? I'm almost at the 30-second mark. It's hot in here, so I'm ready to get up out this infrared treatment. By the way, so many medical spas, I guess they call like med spas, right? They offer all these therapies, infrared saunas, IV drips, PEMF mats, cold plunges, right? Cold rooms. All of these things are valid and they are not expensive. They are not expensive at all. And so you can look into these places around. They often are running specials. You could be spending $70, $80 a month and just going ham on some of these therapies and greatly improving your health. So I hung out here. I didn't have any new questions coming in. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. I'm going to sign off. I got to go pick up my baby. She started preschool. She started preschool this year, y'all, my babies. It's too much.